Hey guys, I built this n8n AI agent workflow, which is basically your personal SEO keyword research tool, and also it can write SEO optimized blog posts for you. So either you are a personal brand or business or service, and you want to research the best keywords for your business or for your blog post, but you don't want to pay like hundreds of dollars to something like SEMrush, guys, because SEMrush is like over $100 a month. So if you want to just do an occasional blog post or occasional keyword research, then probably you don't want to spend like $100 a month on that. So this is much better and budget-friendly option, and you can optimize it any way that you want and any way that it fits for a business or for a client, right? So it can do keyword research for you based on the conversation that you can have with AI agent right here, right? So AI agent is prompted in a way that it's going to ask you all the important questions that it needs to do a full research. And the way it's going to do research, it has something called a web scraper from Tavily, right? So Tavily, it's a web scraper tool, which basically can scrape the web data on Google or on the search engine, right? And it has access to data real time, right? So for example, if there was something added yesterday, it will be able to access the latest data from Google because it's real time web scraper, right? So it will be able to research the best practices, like your competition, and pretty much anything that it needs to compile the keyword for a business. And then it has its own SEO blog writer assistant right here, which is pretty awesome, guys. Let me tell you exactly what it does. So this SEO agent, which is basically the main SEO agent, right? It has its own assistant, which is basically a blog writer, right? And it's also a agent tool. So if I go to my Gmail, this entire thing was basically generated by n8n workflow and the agents from here, right? So a agent does the research, and then it asks you if you want to have now blog generated based on this research and data. And if you say yes, it's going to use this AI agent right here as its assistant, and it's going to generate the blog post for you, and it's going to send the entire thing to your Gmail in this super neatly and nicely formatted format, guys. Okay, just look at that. Super nice format, the best SEO practices. We have the headline, introduction, all the headings, H1, H2, H3s, everything is spread out correctly. And the keywords are injected in a way that is not spammy, right? So again, the best practices are already applied for you, and everything is pretty much done for you guys, okay? And this entire template, guys, as a bonus, will be available as a free download. So below the video, in the description box or in the comment, I'm gonna leave a link to download this entire JSON template for free, right? So make sure to check it out because I will be dropping that at some point, guys, okay? And besides that, let me just kind of walk you through the entire workflow. So if you download this, you kind of know how to change things and how it works behind the scenes, guys, okay? All right, let's go to the basics of n8n. So everything in n8n starts with a chat, with a trigger, not just chat trigger, right? So this is a trigger node right here. And basically, it's going to trigger the entire workflow, right? So n8n has different trigger nodes. It can be Telegram, it can be WhatsApp, it can be webhook, meaning it can be triggered from a third-party API or your own application, right? So trigger node basically triggers the entire workflow or the action, right? So that's what we do. And the way it looks, it's right here. Since we have a chat node, we can literally directly chat with AI agent and explain what is our business all about, so it can gather all the required information for the keyword research that it needs to do, right? So then we have the AI agent, and AI agent has this pretty extensive prompt, guys, right? So again, we're defining the role, which is really important when you work with AI agents. You need to explain what is the role and what it's supposed to do. And then we're defining some conversational rules, right? So just the basics, really, how to respond so it doesn't really go like above and beyond or overdo something, right? So just kind of keep it simple and focus really just on the task, which is research the keywords and do the blog posts, right? Then we're defining that only use the tools and structured keyword format when you have enough biz information, right? So this is the reason why I added this, is because what it was doing, it was basically going on a loop and it was using the Tavily web scraper basically on a loop every time it needed a clarification, or every time I would answer to an agent, it would go back to web scraper every time, which is really not needed. It's really waste of resources. So here it's really really what I'm doing. I'm just defining that, okay, use this tool only once and only when you need to do the actual research or you need to gather information about business on the web, right? So that's basically what it does here. And then we're defining kind of the must-have information before we can proceed with the flow, which is business type, target audience, and a couple of more important informations that we need to gather from the user or you. And then basically we're defining information gathering phase, right? So how should the flow go when we are gathering the information from the user, right? So what is their business website? Okay, if you don't have one, you can just say, I will have one in the future or whatever. Industry niche, target audience, right? Because these are really important for SEO in general. Without that, you won't have a proper keyword. So make sure when you are chatting with a agent, make sure that you actually take your time and answer each of the questions from a agent as precisely as possible, because that's going to define how good are your keywords, right? So really important part, guys. And then we're defining the keyword research phase, right? So here, first we're going to use the web search once, okay? And then I'm noting here that it is capped at 10 results, okay? Because Tavily has a option to cap the max results. And I put it for 10 because sometimes it can go over 10 or 20 and it's going to just use a lot of resources and it's really not needed. So we want to constrain the agent in terms of that. We want to get concise but precise data instead of just like bunch of data from everywhere, right? So just a bit of restriction, it's a good thing to do when you work with AI agents. Because if you don't, they're gonna just improvise and really just go ahead and browse entire Google and just like search all the websites that are not really relevant. So we need to make sure that the data set is concise and we kind of restrict and tell exactly what a agent is supposed to do, right? So what we want to get from that is maximum 10 results, as I mentioned. Okay, and once we get all that data from the web scraper, we're going to start generating the keywords based on this format. Okay, really important. We need to define exactly how it should be structuring that. So again, seed keywords, which is basically keyword 1, keyword 2, and etc. Long tail keywords, really important in SEO. Again, long phrase keywords. So if you're kind of questioning like what is that, let me just show you how that looks. So long tail keywords versus short. Okay, so let me open up this one here. So these are short-term keywords, right? So it's basically just one keyword. For example, furniture or AI or automation. That is a short keyword, right? But long tail keywords are basically defining more of a intent of the search, right? So what is the intent of the person who is on Google? What are they searching for? So that kind of defines the intent of that search, right? So if you search for something like vintage office furniture, that is more intent based because, okay, so this person is probably looking to buy vintage office furniture. So same goes with your service. So if you define it something like automation, it's very broad, right? So automation can be so many different things. But if you do something like AI automation services in New York or AI automation services in the USA or whatever, what is your state, right? So now the intent of that search is somebody who is looking for AI automation services in their state, right? So that's kind of the big difference, guys. A bit of a basics of SEO class for you guys as well here, okay? Then we have the H1, H2, H3, okay? This is important to define these because if your blog post doesn't have these, it won't be ranking. So headings are one of the most important factors when it comes to how well your SEO blog post will rank. So that's why we need to ensure that a agent understands how to structure them properly. So once we have all of that, the step number 2 is going to be to log everything to Google Sheets. Once we have the data, and the Google Sheet looks like this, right? So we are basically logging business name if you provided one, industry, target countries, right? User query, what you asked for, AI response, whatever AI responded. And here we have basically seed keywords. It's kind of you guys can get an idea, right? AI automation, machine learning automation, business process automation, AI workflow. So you can see, guys, that it's really hitting the right spots right there. And now let's check out the long tail keywords. So how AI automation can improve business efficiency. So this is a discovery phase, right? So if a business wants to learn how they can improve efficiency, this would be a discovery phase long keyword or long tail keyword. Then we have benefits of machine learning in AI automation. Again, it's a benefit driven search term, right? So again, it's more of a discovery or, to understand the benefits if the business should have it or not. And then we're going into more hotter funnel, right? Because sort of when we talk about the SEO, it's sort of like a funnel, right? Top of the funnel and bottom of the funnel. So it really defines like how cold or hot is the search intent, right? So top tools for a workflow. Again, this would be somebody who's researching the best AI tools they can maybe implement for the service or for their business to save some money. So basically, that's how the keywords work. And you have all this gold done for you by AI and logged into this sheet right here. So then you can repurpose that through ChatGPT 5, for example, right? So you can bring all this research, bring to ChatGPT and say, hey, can you write me a blog post based on this data right here, right? If not, you can just use the AI agent that's already part of the flow right here. So everything's kind of a two-in-one. You have the research and the blog post writer as well. The only thing, it gives you a short blog post in a sense, right? It's not like a full-scale one, but again, this is good enough. You can literally just copy paste this entire thing, bring it to ChatGPT and say, hey, can you like improve this or like convert this to like 700 word blog post or something like that. So then it's going to basically build upon the proper and good best practice foundation that you have right here. Okay. And the way the tool AI agent works, so basically you can add a tool AI agent to the actual AI agent here, right? So that's a fairly new update from n8n. I believe for the past few months they added that. So now we can basically add AI agents as tools to the main AI agent, which is really cool because before we would have to create a separate workflow, and that workflow would be calling a subflow, so it would be messy. So now we can do everything in single flow, which is really awesome. So let's go and check out what the SEO blog post writer AI agent is doing, right? So if I open up the node right here, again, here we're kind of doing something like with the main SEO agent. So defining the role, what it does and what it's supposed to do, instructions, and then we're defining the HTML format. So this is important. It's a bit of email development, I would say, really basic one, right? A bit of colors and how it's to be structured, because you can see here we're using the blue color, and it's actually using the blue color right here, right? So it's actually following the steps. And then to actually send the actual email, we are attaching a Gmail node right here. So guys, if you want to receive the Gmail to yourself, just make sure to delete my email here and replace here with your email. Otherwise, if you're going to generate the blog post, they're going to go to my personal email. I don't mind, but guys, if you want to receive actually your blog post, make sure to change this to your email, right? And then we have email type HTML. And the message is defined by AI model because we provided the HTML structure, which is going to follow, and then it's going to fill in this variable in here itself, right? Okay, guys. So if you don't know how to authenticate your Gmail, all you need to do is just click here on the drop-down menu, click create new credential, sign in with Google, and make sure to select your Gmail account. And once you do, accept all the events it needs to link your Gmail to n8n, and you're going to be good to go. And make sure to click save, and then obviously save the workflow. Okay, otherwise all your changes will be disregarded in a sense. Okay. Okay, guys, I think I covered most of it. Same thing for the spreadsheets. You just need to authenticate that through your Gmail here. So Google Sheets and Gmail follows the same process, right? So all the variables right here already are predefined. So it's going to be filled in by AI. So the main AI right here, it has a structure. I believe I added that. Let me see. Okay, we're just saying log everything to spreadsheet. Okay, so it basically understands where it should log, which is pretty awesome. What else, guys? Then you will need web scraper, right? So I'm using Tavily, and Tavily is like really cheap. Let me just bring this right here. So you're gonna go basically to Tavily, create an account, and then you're gonna go to your API keys, create a new one. You're gonna get API key. Go back to n8n open Tavily node. Click here, click new credential and copy paste your API key, click save. And if it's successful, you're gonna see a green badge saying that connection is successful, okay? And Tavily is really cool. I've been actually using Tavily web scraper like crazy, and I only hit so far 162 requests out of 1,000 credits. And you get 1,000 credits monthly on a free plan, guys, which is really, really cool. And in my opinion, this is one of the best web scrapers that offers you 1,000 credits. And the web scraper is actually really, really good quality, guys. So definitely go ahead and use that because it is free. All right, and the last thing you really need, you need to create a OpenAI API platform, guys. So go to OpenAI API platform, create your API key, put some money. You can put like $10 or $15 on your API key. And once you do, again, click here, create new account. And here you're going to copy paste the API key that you generated on OpenAI's API platform, guys. And again, click save. If connection was successful, it's going to say something like succeeded or connection successful. You're going to see a green badge right here. If it's red, it probably means that you didn't put the any funds on the API key. Okay, if you just create an API key and don't put any money on it, it's just not gonna work, guys. Okay. But again, if you run into any issues, just let me know down in the comments what's the error or what's the issue facing, and I'm gonna help you out, guys. Okay, don't worry about it. All right, and that's a wrap, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I will ask you to like and subscribe and enable those notifications so you get notified when the next video like this drops, guys. And I'm gonna wish you a happy building, and I'm gonna see you next time.